Hello, welcome to Middle East in Depth, part of Levant TV's Press Reviews. Barak Ravid, diplomatic correspondent for Haaretz newspaper, writes an article about the presence of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in yesterday's mass demonstration in Paris. French President François Hollande conveyed a message to the Prime Minister over the weekend, asking him not to come to Paris to take part in the march against terror on Sunday. And after the French government began to send invitations to world leaders to participate in the rally against terror, Hollande's national security advisor Jacques Audibert contacted his Israeli counterpart Yossi Cohen and said that Hollande would prefer that Netanyahu not attend. Audibert explained that Hollande wanted the event to focus on demonstrating solidarity with France and to avoid anything liable to divert attention to other controversial issues like Jewish-Muslim relations or the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Audibert said that Hollande hoped that Netanyahu would understand the difficulties his arrival might pose and would announce that he would not be attending. But apparently French concerns were about Netanyahu taking advantage of the event for campaigning purposes and making speeches especially about the Jews of France. The Élysée Palace feared Netanyahu's statements would hurt the demonstration of solidarity, and the French government was trying to promote as part of dealing with the terror attacks. Netanyahu then announced that he would not be flying to Paris because of security concerns, and the French apparently sent the same message to Palestinian Authority leader President Mahmoud Abbas. Abbas acceded to the French request and released a strange statement about the same time Netanyahu released his, that he would not be attending the event because of the bad weather. Starting with a memorial for those murdered at the Jewish school in Toulouse, followed by a speech at a ceremony there, the French president was quoted then saying that it was only because he came with Netanyahu to the ceremony that the Israeli Prime Minister toned down his speech. And sources revealed that the president complained in close talks after the event that he found it unfortunate that Prime Minister Netanyahu had come to Paris to conduct a, quote, two-stage election campaign. Also in Israel, Ari Sofer writes an article in Arutz Shiva, an article titled BBC Reporter Slammed for Anti-Semitic Comments at Paris March. Jewish rights groups have expressed their shock and outrage after BBC News correspondent Tim Wilcox made comments claiming that Palestinians suffer at Jewish hands during Sunday's mega demonstration against terrorism in Paris, with some accusing him of anti-Semitism. Tim Wilcox was interviewing a French Jewish woman at the Paris mega rally. She was voicing her fears that Jews are being targeted in Europe. Wilcox interjected, quote, "Many critics thought of Israel's policy would suggest that the Palestinians suffer hugely at Jewish hands as well." His interviewee, clearly taken aback by the question, begins to respond by telling him that the two issues aren't comparable, at which point Wilcox interrupts again, saying, quote, "But you do understand everything is seen from different perspectives." It is not the first time Wilcox has been accused of anti-Semitism. The campaign against anti-Semitism, a grassroots initiative formed several months ago to combat rising anti-Semitism in the UK, has called on British Jews and the BBC viewers in general to lodge an official complaint on the BBC's website against Wilcox's disgraceful comments. According to Arutz Shiva, the BBC denied there was any anti-Semitic intention behind his November statement, but Arutz Shiva are continuing to pursue their complaint with them regarding this. Their lawyers are now preparing a new complaint slamming the BBC for continuing to allow him to broadcast despite his questionable record. Tim Wilcox is becoming a frequent offender of Jewish viewers, and the BBC needs to deal with the issue urgently. And then Arutz Shiva questions, does he have a problem with Jews? So much for BBC impartiality. That was it for today's brief stories. For more updates, please visit us on levant.tv. You can also subscribe to Middle East in Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching and bye for now.